Welcome back to World Crisis Radio, Webster Tarpley in Washington, D.C. So if you look at the resistance in Europe, very often the right-wing governments, typically Berlusconi, is resisting Obama's war plans more than the Papandreou of Greece, Zapatero of Spain, Socrates of Portugal, Second International, Socialist International, Wall Street stooges. Very, very interesting. Ocampo of the International Criminal Court says they're getting ready to indict Gaddafi. Oh, my heavens. These are the people who never laid a glove on Bush, never laid a glove on Cheney, never laid a glove on Tony Blair for 1.5 million deaths in Iraq, obvious genocide. Now they're going after Gaddafi. Oh, my heavens. The International Criminal Court is simply a front for imperialism, and the U.S. should not join it. We don't want any part of this thing. Good to stay out of it. Now, also notice the role of the British, the role of Cameron. In the past couple of days, we had British Prime Minister Cameron shooting his yap about a no-fly zone, which of course means airstrikes and air battles, and finding out whether Gaddafi has any good modern Russian or other missiles. Cameron, as always, ready to fight to the last American, because he knows damn well that the U.S. will be up front taking it on the chin in case anything goes wrong, and his BBC, his Al Jazeera, British intelligence can hang back and snipe at the U.S. as the real imperialists. Now, this is what Gates has been protesting against. Very interesting. Gates, of course, is a Brzezinski man. Gates doesn't really want direct military involvement because he believes in soft power, color revolutions, people power coups, postmodern coups. Now, in Libya, we've now gone beyond the color revolution, postmodern coup. We're into a civil war by now, the kind of thing the U.S. usually stays out of. Cameron pushing for the U.S. to get involved big time. Perfide Albion, as we've always said, every European language has some expression that suggests that British foreign policy is based on trickery and treachery, and I'm afraid that's the tradition of the Foreign Office. Remember Margaret Thatcher meeting with Bush the Elder in 1990 after Saddam Hussein had seized Kuwait. Thatcher later boasted she performed an emergency backbone implant on Bush, that he was not a warmonger enough. He still was thinking of Lyndon B. Johnson's fate in Vietnam. She pushed the U.S. into Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. In the case of Serbia 1999, it was Tony Blair and Al Gore, but Tony Blair who pushed for the bombing of Serbia to begin in the spring of 1999. And then Tony Blair demanded a land war, a ground attack, infantry assault on Serbia. Would have been a bloodbath, would have been a lot of body bags. Fortunately, Clinton, amazingly enough, said no. He had learned the lesson of Vietnam, at least as far as his own career was concerned. And on September 11th, 2001, Tony Blair pushing Bush the Younger, get on TV, say Bin Laden, say Al-Qaeda, say Afghanistan, prepare to invade Afghanistan. The lapdog stuff, the poodle, was a complete misnomer. It was Bush who was the poodle of Tony Blair, not the other way around. So don't listen to that British advice, and you will fare much better. As Gates says, no-fly zone means a total attack on Libya. Hillary is for the no-fly zone. The U.S. Senate is for the no-fly zone. McCain, true to the neocon doctrine, assures us it will be a cakewalk. He says that Gaddafi's air defense system is antiquated. Well, in 1986, they did shoot down a couple of the planes that came in and bombed Gaddafi's residence, killing his 1.5-year-old baby daughter. The guardians of civilization were baby killers in that case under this silly La Belle Discotheque story that nobody believes. We might soon have a fourth U.S. war. That would be Libya. Right now, though, let's go back. Let's just maybe we take a minute. Libya. Is Libya really the hellhole that they describe? I mean, certainly Tunisia was not the dictatorship that they talked about. I was in Tunisia myself in the autumn of 2004. I asked a distinguished professor, the man who translated Leibniz into Arabic, is it true this is a dictatorship? And he said, no, because institutions are strong enough here to hem in Ben Ali and prevent him from doing certain things. So it's basically not that bad. With Libya, you go and look on the internet, look at the Human Development Index. You will find that Libya is number 53 on the Human Development Index. It is the most developed country in Africa. It has a better human development score than Russia, of all places, the best in Africa. It has a lower level of incarceration than the Czech Republic, and it is, on the whole, a significant model of social progress. This is what they hate. Gaddafi, for all of his distortions, is a kind of modern-day Nasser. It is Arab socialism with some kind of Islamic veneer that I think he's been forced to take up. But there is a significant income equity. You might find that Libya has less of an income disparity between the top and the bottom than the United States does. And anyway, take a look out of 160 or 170 countries that are measured on this Human Development Index, Libya number 53. That is pretty good. And again, it's the best of anybody in Africa, and it's much better than a whole bunch of U.S. puppet states around the world. Now, the thing that we should also look at, we're having the CIA Springtime of Nations, the great revolutionary tide of the spring of 2011. In the middle of this, it looks like the CIA was planning something like a radiological dirty bomb in Pakistan. Now, I'm referring to a synthesis of reports coming from Pakistan, coming from the Pakistan Observer and other sources concerning the case of this Ray Davis. Now, the allegation from the Pakistanis is that Ray Davis was a terrorist controller. He was a case officer for Taliban, in quotes, terrorists, and that his mission with his Taliban contacts, say these sources, was to deliver nuclear materials for a possible radiological dirty bomb that would go off, signed Al-Qaeda, but the ingredients would have been furnished by Ray Davis, I think now acknowledged by the U.S. government to have been from the CIA. Interestingly, in this, Obama attempted a press censorship that went beyond Bush-Cheney. Obama demanded that the U.S. media hide the fact that Davis was from the CIA and not the State Department. Nevertheless, it came out. It's interesting that most of the media acquiesced. They were happy to do it for Barkey, whereas they would have bucked Bush and Cheney. Again, they don't object to imperialism. They just have cultural problems with Bush and Cheney. So it could have been a radiological dirty bomb, according to these Pakistani sources, or it could have been a biological or chemical event. This would have given a pretext to say that the Pakistani nuclear forces are not secure. The U.S. is going to seize them. The U.S. could be in an open shooting war with Pakistan very soon, and that might include nukes by Pakistan. Back in a minute.